Now we will begin with page 78. Remember in page 76 and 77, Persome was angry because Marie had sold the silver salt cellar because the bishop had told her to do so, right? Now, why did she sell the silver salt cellar? It was because the bishop needed money to help an old woman, Mare Gore, to pay her rent. Okay, so as they were talking, the bishop enters. Okay, let's read on. Enter the bishop. Ah, how nice and warm it is here. It is worth going out in the cold for the sake of the comfort of coming in. Persome has hastened to help him off with his coat, etc. Marie had dropped a deep curtsy. Thank you, dear, looking at her. Why, what is the matter? You have been crying. Has Marie been troublesome, eh? Shaking his finger at her. Now, as the bishop came in, he commented on the warmth of the house. He said it is so nice to come back home from the cold outside. Then he looks at Persome and he sees that something is wrong. So he asks her if Marie has been troubling her. Then Persome said, no, it wasn't Marie. But, but, okay, then the bishop said, well, you should tell me presently. Marie, my child, run home now. Your mother is better. I have prayed with her, and the doctor has been. Run home. Marie putting on cloak and going. Aunt Marie, let yourself in quietly in case your mother is asleep. Then Marie says, oh, thanks, Monseigneur. She goes to the door. As it opens, the snow drives in. Okay, so Persome said it wasn't Marie, but okay, she was planning to tell the bishop what happened. Then the bishop interrupted her by speaking to Marie, telling Marie to go home quickly because her mother was ill. Then he tells Marie to keep herself warm since it was cold outside. And as she opened the door, the snow, the breeze blew in. It was very, very cold. So the bishop said, here, Marie, take my comforter. Here, comforter is a shawl, or we can say a muffler. He gives her his shawl. It will keep you warm. It is very cold tonight. Then Marie says, oh no, Monseigneur. She was ashamed, all right? Now Persome said, what nonsense, brother. She is young. She won't hurt. So here, as the bishop was trying to keep Marie warm by giving her his shawl, Persome was angry. Okay, she said, she's very young. She won't get hurt by just going out in the cold. Then the bishop said, ah, Persome, you have not been out. You don't know how cold it has become. Here, Marie, let me put it on for you. And then he puts on the shawl for Marie. There, run along, little one. Then Marie exits. After Marie leaves the house, Persome said, brother, I have no patience with you. There, sit down and take your soup. It has been waiting ever so long, and if it is spoiled, it serves you right. And the bishop said, it smells delicious. Okay, so Persome was angry with her brother. Remember, he had gone out after 11 o'clock at night. So the soup must be cold by then. But she said, take your soup, and if it is spoiled, it is your fault. Okay? So the bishop calmly said, oh, the soup smells delicious. Then Persome again said, I'm sure Marie's mother is not so ill that that you need have stayed out on such a night as this. I believe those people pretend to be ill just to have the bishop call on them. They have no thought of the bishop. So here she again expresses her anger towards Mary's mother. She said, I don't think she is really ill. They just want the attention of the bishop. Okay, then the bishop said, "It is kind of them to want to see me." Then Persome said, "Well, for my part, I believe that charity begins at home." So Persome said, "I believe that doing good to people begins at home." So this means that she is jealous of all the people who calls upon the bishop for help. She wants to say that she also needs help from the bishop. She wants a friend at home, but the bishop is always away. Okay? Then the bishop said, "Oh, you always make me delicious soup. You are very good to me, sister." Then Persone said, "Good to you? Yes, I should think so. I should like to know where you would be without me to look after you, the dupe of every idle scam or lying old woman in the parish." Then she said, "Yes, of course I'm good to you. I don't know how you will be without me." Okay, she praises herself here a little bit. And then she calls her brother the dupe of every idle scam. Okay, this means you are easily fooled by people in the church and in the community. Now let's move to page 79. Then the bishop said, "If people lie to me, they are poorer, not I. But it is ridiculous. You will soon have nothing left. You give away everything, everything. My dear, there is so much suffering in the world, and I can do so little, so little." Suffering, yes, but you never think of the suffering you cause to those who love you best, the suffering you cause to me. Then the bishop, standing up, said, "You, sister dear, have I hurt you? Ah, I remember you had been crying. Was it my fault? I didn't mean to hurt you. I am sorry." "Sorry? Yes, sorry won't mend it. Hump. Oh, do go on eating your soup before it gets cold." "Very well, dear. But tell me." Okay, so remember Persome called him an easily fooled person. She said people fool you by calling you here and there. So you always go out to help them. They ask you for money, you help them. And then she said, "It is ridiculous. Very soon we will have nothing left." And then the bishop said, "Oh, my dear sister, there is so much suffering in the world, and there is so little that I can do." So, in all these words that he uttered, we can see how kind the bishop is. Then Persome said, "Suffering, yes, there's so much suffering, but you never care for me." Then the bishop said, "My sister, have I hurt you? I remember as I came in the house, you were crying. Now, was it my fault? Please tell me what happened." Now, let's listen to what Persome has to say. Why was she crying when the bishop entered the house? She said, "You are like a child. I can't trust you out of my sight. No sooner is my back turned than you get that little minx Marie to sell the silver salt cellars. Ah, yes, the salt cellars. It is a pity. You were proud of them? Proud of them? Why, they have been in our family for years." "Yes, it is a pity. They were beautiful. But still, dear, one can eat salt out of china just as well." Okay, so she said, "My dear brother, you are just like a child. I cannot trust you. The moment I turn my back, you let that little flirt Marie sell the silver salt cellars." Okay, now she's pouring out all her anger. She said, "The silver salt cellars. You sold them. Okay, you let Marie sell it." Then the bishop said, "Oh, the silver salt cellars. Were you proud of them?" Then she said, "Proud of them? Of course I'm proud of them. They have been in our family for years." Then the bishop said, "Oh, I'm sorry, but we can still eat salt out of china just as well, meaning we can still put salt in any container like the china clay." Then hearing this, Persome was very angry. She said, "Yes, or meat off the floor, I suppose," meaning Yes, so this means we don't need plates. We can eat meat from the floor. Oh, it's coming to that. And as for the old wretch Mare Gringor, I wonder she has the audacity to send Jean here again. The last time I saw her, I gave her such a talking to that it ought to have had some effect. Okay? So she said, as for that old wretch Mare Gringor, I wonder if she will still have the courage to send her daughter Jean here again. Because the last time I saw her, I scolded her, so I hope it has some effect. Okay, then the bishop said, yes, I offered to take her in here for a day or two, but she seemed to think it might distress you. Distress me? And the bailiff, who is a very just man, would not wait longer for the rent. So you see, I had to pay it. You had to pay it. Okay, so here talking about Mare Gringor, the bishop said, yes, she did not have any money to pay to her landlord. So the bailiff or the court officer or the lawyer was about to chase her out of the house because she could not pay the rent. So I had to help her. And since I did not have money, the bishop said, I had to sell the salt cellars. Yes, and you see, I had no money, so I had to dispose of the salt cellars. It was fortunate I had them, wasn't it? But I'm sorry, I have grieved you. Okay? So then Persome says, oh, go on, go on. You are incorrigible. Incorrigible is a person who cannot be corrected. So she said, oh, my brother, you cannot improve yourself. You'll sell your candlesticks next, I'm sure. Now, hearing this, with real concern, the bishop said, no, no, sister, not my candlesticks. Then Persome said, oh, why not? They would pay somebody's rent, I suppose. Let's move on to page 80. The bishop said, ah, you are good, sister, to think of that. But, but I don't want to sell them. You see, dear, my mother gave them to me on her deathbed just after you were born. And, and she asked me to keep them in remembrance of her, so I would like to keep them. But perhaps it is a sin to set such store by them. Then Persome said, brother, brother, you will break my heart, with tears in her voice. There, don't say anything more. Kiss me and give me your blessings. I am going to bed. Okay, so hearing his sisters say that you may sell the candlesticks next. The bishop said, oh, I will never sell the candlesticks because it was gifted by our dear mother just before she died, just after you were born. So their mother died just after Persome was born. So in remembrance, she had given the candlesticks to the bishop. Okay, so this is why the bishop said, I will never sell the candlesticks. Hearing this, Persome said, oh, my dear brother, you will make me cry. You will break my heart. Don't say anything more. Kiss me and give me your blessing. I am going to bed. So the bishop hugs her and blesses her. Then Persome said, don't sit up too long and tire your eyes. No, dear, good night. Then Persome leaves. Bishop comes to the table and opens a book, then looks up at the candlesticks. So after Persome left, the bishop comes to a table and opens a book he was about to read, but just before he reads the book, he looks up at the candlesticks and in his mind he was thinking they would surely help to pay somebody's rent. Okay, he cannot stop himself from helping people. He stirs the fire, trims the lamp, arranges some books and papers, sits down, is restless. He shivers slightly. Clock outside strikes 12, so it's 12 o'clock now. He sits down to read a book. Just then, enter the convict stealthily. He has a long knife and seizes the bishop from behind. Okay, we will pause here for now.